Where do we stand with quarterback Geno Smith going into the 2025 season? The Raiders have made a little bit of changes. Of course, they bring in head coach Pete Carroll and more solidifying that head coach, and they're trying to change the culture over there at the Raiders that I completely agree with. And even though that's not, I'm not talking bad about the previous head coach and Pierce. It's just they definitely needed to shift and a change. And I think by making that change, going with someone who's more experienced, I'm totally for. And Pete Carroll has been there, done that. Pete Carroll is a really good coach. He's a good motivator, kind of a CEO kind of type of coach in that way. As they transition, a lot of people were talking about, are they going to go young? Could they be drafting a quarterback in the NFL draft? They made the decision to go with a veteran quarterback. Russell Wilson was out there, and there was talks about him going to the Raiders, reigniting with Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll ends up, from the reports, it was looking like he was looking that way, but they decided, regardless, to go the Geno Smith route. And my hands are up in the air right now. Like, I do want to say this. Like, I'm a fan of Geno Smith, and it's really a fan of his story. Coming out of the college, West Virginia, seeing him get drafted to the Jets and just kind of tank. I believe he's West Virginia. It's been a minute now. Let me know in the comments section below if I messed that one up. But going to the Jets and it just not working out, just like it has for so many quarterbacks. But Geno Smith is one of those quarterbacks that while it did not work out for him at his first landing spot, he was able to resurrect his career and find a landing spot. And then, when he eventually landed in Seattle, I don't really think there was a whole lot of people feeling like Geno Smith was going to be anything. He was just a stopgap quarterback until the next guy started. And Geno Smith took that job and he ran with it. And he solidified himself as a true starting quarterback in the NFL, and he helped the Seahawks win some games. And his statistics has been pretty dang good, pretty dang solid to lead a franchise. Seattle opting to go a different direction. It's a whole nother video to talk about Sam Darnold and how I think that that's going to work out. We'll get to that when the video of Sam Darnold, as we're doing a 32 quarterback carousel series here on the channel leading up to the 2025 season. This video is all about Geno Smith, and I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. What are your expectations going into the 2025 season surrounding Geno Smith and this Raiders offense? I initially, from the out, I like the addition of Geno Smith. And I feel like I don't know what it's going to come out to as far as wins and losses. I unfortunately feel like the Raiders are in a really bad spot because you got the Chiefs, okay, and Patrick Mahomes ain't going anywhere. You've got the Chargers with Harbaugh and Justin Herbert. Just released that video. I'll put it in the section below. That way you can watch it. And, second year in Jim Harbaugh, I feel like you're just going to see Herbert continue to make progress. Then you got Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos coming out of left field last year and looking like a team, like legit football team. And then you got Sean Payton over there. Like, they're just like, this is probably the best division in football as far as head coaches. Like, the Raiders had to go out there and get Pete Carroll when you got Andy Reid, Jim Harbaugh, and Sean Payton as head coaches in this division. They did go out and get Pete Carroll. They have a solidified veteran head coach. But my goodness, is this division hard to just get wins. And unfortunately, when you look at the Raiders as far as their personnel grouping, I just feel like they still probably are the worst team in this division. So I don't know what it's going to do wins and losses wise. But I do think Geno Smith is going to be, like, if you're into fantasy football, I think he could be a low-key good quarterback to take in the back end of your draft because he does have options. They're going to try to build around Geno Smith at least for a couple years. I don't think Geno is going to be there for 5-7 years or something. I don't know. Who knows? But they're going to build around him now and try to make it to where he doesn't have to win games all on himself. Of course, they go out and they get an Ashton Jeanty, the stud running back from Boise State, who I think is going to be a damn good running back in the NFL. They're going to build, they're going to run the ball around Ashton Jeanty. And then, of course, you've got tight end Brock Bowers, who I absolutely loved coming out of the draft. I wanted the Titans to select him, but whatever. Coming off his incredible rookie season, going into his second year, having a more stable quarterback is only going to help out Brock Bowers, and then Brock Bowers is only going to help out Geno Smith. Wide receiver-wise, they could still use a little bit more talent, but I think they got Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker, and Jack Beck. I don't really know, honestly, anybody else over there. If you're a diehard Raiders fan, put it in the comments section as far as a receiver that a lot of people might not know about, but that you think could pop off this year. But between Brock Bowers and Ashton Jeanty and trying to improve this offensive line, I do think Geno Smith is going to have some weapons to play with and potentially have a pretty solid year and kind of solidify that quarterback room that has been a mess for the past 2 years. It's just been a revolving door for the Raiders. And kind of be that stop bridge guy quarterback that eventually they'll draft a guy he can help mold to eventually take over. Where this defense, you got Max Crosby, that's great, but they desperately need more pieces and to bring him along. Unfortunately, just for them, I just think they're kind of screwed in the division. You guys let me know what you think. Could the Raiders shock some people and maybe Bo Nix and the Broncos have a sophomore slump and maybe Herbert and the Chargers are just meh and the Raiders can surprise some people, turn some heads, and compete for number 2? I don't know if you're going to say sitting there Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are going to have a drop-off. I've got to wait and see that actually happen. So going into the 2025 season, I think you're going to see Geno Smith improve that quarterback room. I think we're going to see potentially some really good plays and Ashton Jeanty have a really good solid rookie year. I think he'll be in the running for Offensive Rookie of the Year. There's a lot of talent out there that could run for that title. Brock Bowers should continue to improve even more now that he's got a Geno Smith. You're going to see improvement. Is that 3 wins? Or I don't know how many wins they might have had 4. Is that like 4 wins to 7? Is it 4 wins to 11? I don't know. I find it hard for me to find those wins for the Raiders. But like I say, I want to give you guys a platform. Let us know in the comment section below, Raiders fan or non-Raiders fan. What are your expectations for not only Geno Smith, but the Raiders heading into the 2025 season? Think it was a good call to go with Geno Smith. I don't think it was a good call to spend out all that money for Sam Darnold. We'll get to that in the next video soon. But while I think it's going to show improvement, I just feel like there's still a little bit away. I don't know. We'll see. As always, guys, like this video if you enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button. Anything and everything football leading up into this season. We're going to be doing film breakdowns once it gets here, news, all that stuff. I'm your channel. Continue to build this community. Appreciate you guys. As always, stay humble, stay kind. Peace.